All right. Thank you so much, Scott. It's wonderful to be here. I'm so pleased to be talking today about a subject that I'm really passionate about, which is yoga. So as a pianist, as a piano teacher, and then also as someone who's certified to teach yoga, I'm a really passionate advocate for the use of yoga to not only improve posture and alignment, but also to help us learn how to release tension in our bodies, to relieve pain, to promote body awareness, and really to reduce anxiety as well, and even frustration that sometimes occurs when we're teaching. So this is a very short presentation, and I'm mainly going to be coming to this from the standpoint of the healthy teacher, but we'll talk a little bit too about how we can use dynamic movement with our students in warming up and preparing to play the piano, as well as using stretches for mid and post practice as well. And then even you can use yoga for performance techniques for focus and centering. What I really want to focus on today is how yoga can be used to promote the healthy range of movement for the spine. So a healthy supported spine is structurally strong and also flexible, creating mobility in the whole body, reducing pain and the potential for repetitive stress injuries as well. It even improves breath control in singers and creates freedom in the limbs that radiate outward from the core. They say you're only as young as your spine is flexible, and regular movement of the spine through 5 directional movements. These are extension, where we arch the body, lifting up through our sternum, flexion where we round the body, side bends to either side, twists where we twist from side to side, and also what's called axial extension, which is lengthening the spine along its axis. These 5 movements together help us to bring the body into better alignment, to lubricate the joints that are used in repetitive movement, and along with deep breathing, to nourish the body by bringing nutrients to the spinal discs. Stress and frustration cause tightness in muscles, which increases the risk for musculoskeletal disorder, as does repetitive movement and unhealthy compression of the spine when we're sitting for a long time, particularly in a more slumped posture. So when we talk about a slumped posture or a posture of flexion, this is a C-shaped position of the spine that we take not only often when we're teaching and we're bending forward and pointing at music with our students, but also when we're at our computers, when we're driving, when we're texting, and so many other parts of our daily lives. And it's a harmful position when it's used too often. So often what I focus on with students and in my own teaching is the action of flexion, which is the opposing action of lifting up through the heart center. This expansion of the front body is also thought to increase energy and confidence and even promote emotional expression as well. So in this slide, we see 2 poses that are really helpful for promoting axial extension, or again, lengthening the spine along its axis to reduce compression in the spine and then also provide space between the vertebrae. It improves posture and alignment, and it counteracts gravity's compressive force on the body. So downward facing dog is the pose that you see on the left-hand side that when it's being performed by my 3-year-old son. So in this position, we take the body into an upside down V shape, and it really allows us to lengthen and create more space between each of the vertebrae. In a moment, we're going to see a modified version of this pose that you are welcome to do from a chair. And by the way, if you have some space nearby, if you want to grab a strap or a towel or a scarf, we'll have some opportunities to move through a couple of these poses together. And if you do have space, you might even have the opportunity to go into a tabletop position on the floor, and you might have a chair nearby that's not rolling and is fairly stable. On the other side, the right-hand side is staff pose, and this is a great pose for practicing axial extension in a seated position. So in the next video, you're going to see my student Ray use staff pose while he's sitting on the bench to help him release his shoulders away from his ears and to help him find that nice tall spine. After we practice that staff pose, and in staff pose, your hands are pressed into the earth or the piano bench beside the hips. And at the same time, you're again lengthening the spine. And this can also be a really nice pose too if you're suffering from carpal tunnel syndrome, to provide that stretch through the wrist. So in the video with Ray, you're going to see him practice staff, and then you're going to see him practice alternating extension or opening and flexion by crossing one arm over the other. This is a modification of eagle pose. And you'll also see that this provides a nice little cognitive boost because he really has to think about which arm is going to be crossed across the other. So we'll go ahead and watch that video. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to take your arms out wide and reach behind you a little bit, so keep them nice and straight. There you go, and you can even extend your fingers out to the sides of the room, beautiful. And then cross your arms, so you can cross your right arm over your left and kind of hug in and tuck your chin into your chest. Good. So one more time, so you're going to take the arms out, extend the fingers, take them back in, left over right this time, tuck in. And let's just do one more time each side. So open, look up, breathe in. Exhale, tuck in, right over left. Open, that's it, good. And then open, look up, inhale, and exhale. Cross left over right this time. Good job. Okay, and tuck it. Good. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and take the keyboard cover down. And first I want you to take your hands down beside your hips and just kind of press your hands into the bench. So it's like you're flexing your hands. Good. See if you can sit up nice and tall. Good, so that you keep your shoulders away from your ears. And notice how that feels with your spine nice and long when you're pressing in. Really nice. Okay. All right, and we can go ahead and go back to the slides if we're able to. So you could see there that that alternating extension and flexion of the spine is a really nice dynamic warm up for the body. And the cue of ears over shoulders over hips is a really good cue for alignment at the piano as well. So the next slide we're going to look at is about core stability. And this is a really important component of injury prevention for musicians. So greater stability in the core, or the powerhouse of the body, allows for greater freedom of motion in the extremities, the limbs, and healthier use of force for injury prevention and improved sound. It also helps stabilize the trunk, including the lumbar spine or the lower back, and it assists with structural integration and alignment through the rest of the body. Balancing table is what you'll see here, where you come to a tabletop position with shoulders over wrists and hips over knees on the floor. This is also a great brain integration exercise when we lift the opposite arm and leg. So this can be done in several ways depending on how you'd like to practice it. The first option is to simply extend one leg behind you. A second option is to then extend the opposite arm in front of you, and you can simply hold that position. Or if you'd like to try what's on the video, you can crunch opposite elbow and knee in together and then switch sides. If you'd like to try this but don't have room on your floor to get to tabletop position, a similar exercise can be done simply by clasping the hands behind the head, and then you're going to crunch the right elbow down and at the same time lift the left leg. So you're crunching together opposite elbow and knee and then switching sides. So we can go ahead and watch this video. That's a great exercise for core stability.
From here, we'll think about activating the core by drawing the belly button in toward the spine and also lengthening the spine all the way from your top of your head to your tailbone. So from there, go ahead and take the right leg behind you, flexing through the right foot, and then drawing in through the core. Think about being balanced on the bases of all your knuckles, keeping those hips even. When you're ready, inhale to take the left hand in front of you, extending from fingertips to heel and really lifting that right leg without cocking the hip open to the side. So take an inhale there and then exhale to crunch in, elbow to knee. Inhale and lengthen, and exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale to lengthen, fingertips to heel and crunch in. And one more. Inhale to lengthen and exhale to crunch in. Inhale, drawing in through the belly button, and then exhale to take down the hand and then the knee.
All right, and next we're going to go to a slide about warming up before playing. So to help prevent injury, students really need to use dynamic movement. This could be at the piano with some simple scales played slowly and gradually speeding up and increasing the volume, but could also be done away from the instrument. So in the video that you'll see here, I'm working with a student to use some dynamic movement that's slow and repetitive, where we improve circulation and prepare the body for deeper and faster movement. You'll see that she's working on several warm-ups for the upper body, which include wrist rolls to lubricate the joints of the wrist, as well as shoulder rolls and chest pulses to warm the muscles of the upper back and open up the front of the body. The goal post or cactus position is a great example of spinal extension. So we'll go ahead and watch this video. Take your arms out to the side, palms facing forward. Inhale. And as you exhale, 5 small chest pulses. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. And then continuing that movement, we're going to alternately open, arch, and round to the spine. So take your hands to start lightly beside your hips. Inhale, arch, and open and look up. And then exhale, take your hands between your thighs, round the shoulder blades away from each other until your chin into your chest. So 2 more times here, inhaling, open. This is our cow pose. And exhale, round back. This is our cat pose. And last time, we're just gently providing this spinal flexibility before we start moving our bodies in practice. Now continue this idea of opening up the front of the body. Let's inhale, reach the arms up overhead, look up. And then exhale, goal pose or cactus pose. Look up toward the sky and opening the heart and throat. Inhale and lift. And exhale. So you might hold this back bend after we've been practicing a while, but when we're first starting, we're just warming up the body, moving along with the breath. 1 breath per movement. Inhale, reach up again, and this time we're going to twist over to the right, taking the right hand lightly behind you, the left hand to the other thigh. 1 breath per movement. Inhale, lift up. And then exhale, keep both hips facing forward as you twist over to the left. Good. Inhale, reach the hands back up overhead. And then we're going to take the hands to prayer position in front of the heart. Just bow down the head just for a moment. And we're going to begin a little bit of lubrication of the wrists. So we're going to make these belly dancer wrist rolls, rolling the hands in one direction as we reach up to the sky. And then exhale, roll them in the opposite direction as we lower them back down toward our hips. Now we'll go through what I call firecrackers to warm up the small muscles of the hands. So arms straight in front of you, clench the fists, and then extend and shoot energy out of the fingertips each time. So we'll start slow, and then we'll gradually just make the movement a little bit faster until you eventually get really fast movements. Good. Relax those hands, relax those shoulders for a moment. Let's do a couple of big shoulder rolls. So starting first, inhale the shoulders up, and then exhale them behind you, moving nice and slowly with large movements. 1 more time here, rolling behind you, and then let's go ahead and roll them forward. Inhale, and exhale as you roll them down. And 1 more time. Good, and let's inhale, lift the shoulders up by your ears, and then exhale to shrug them down. Check in with your body, check your alignment, make sure everything feels good, and then you're ready to start.